Hey everyone, this is John from DroidDog.com, and this is part 1 of your Behold 2 questions answered. I'm not sure how many parts there are going to be for this phone because I'm not sure how long I'm going to have it. But you can go ahead and keep on sending in your questions and requests if you just want to see me do something on the phone. You can either text me at 503-MOB-BARK, and that's for text messages only. No one's going to be checking voicemails or answering the phone. Or you can @reply me on Twitter. That's phonedog_John. Alright, far and away the number one question I've been getting, I should say the top 2 questions I've been getting are, can you replace Samsung's custom user interface, and can you replace the keyboard? And before I get into that, I should just make it clear why so many people are asking that question, for those of you out there who haven't been following the Behold 2 reviews. The user interface is based on cubes, and it's a little bit gimmicky. It's not extremely usable. It's not really usable in a lot of circumstances. So, this part of it, when you're just switching between desktops, that doesn't bother me too much. I get the feeling it's probably using more resources than are necessary, but it's just like any other animation on an Android device. But considering this is, pretty standard old specs, comparable to what we've seen over the last year with Android devices, you don't want to waste anything, any resources. Where it really gets mucked up is when you go into the outside of the cube, I should say, because that first desktop interface, it's like you're trapped inside a cube. This is kind of cool if you're using this menu down here, although it's really unpredictable. Say I want to browse my pictures. It's cool to be able to flip through them like this, kind of, when it works. And I just want to get my menu back here. Okay. Now I'm sure if you really use this thing on a regular basis, you wouldn't have nearly the trouble I'm having with it, but you can already see how it's problematic. Alright, so that's about as cool as it gets for the cube. Just to demonstrate real quickly, you can actually navigate through your different media by spinning this cube around, but it's very difficult to get predictable results with that. Personally, I don't use it at all, and I think this button has been wasted. This is a dedicated cube button. I think the phone would be much more well served by a search button there, like a lot of the other Android phones coming out have. So anyway, let's get to the home replacement. I did install home replacement, Open Home, and you can just set it so it automatically goes to Open Home every time you hit the home key, but because I go back and forth for these reviews, I have not set a default yet. But if I go into Open Home, you'll see it works just fine. And I've tested a couple of replacement keyboards, and for those who are wondering, the HTC Sense keyboard does work. This is, not an official release, and there are a lot of people who are releasing this and putting it up on different servers. You never know what you're getting, and software keyboards are especially dangerous because people can log your keystrokes, send them out, so be careful. You do it at your own risk. Pay attention to the authorizations you make when you install a new app. It'll say, here's the access that this app wants to approve that. So anyway, just a word of warning on that. But yeah, now that I've done this, I find the Behold 2 much more usable and much more user-friendly. Another reason I should have pointed out that people want to replace the UI is because Samsung replaced pretty much every menu you can imagine. Now that I have a home replacement going, I can go to the regular Android menu, right? But the settings menu, if I go back to TW Launcher, the TouchWiz Launcher, hit Menu, go into Settings, I get these menus that, you can basically get into all of the same things, most of the same options, but the organization isn't as nice. And honestly, I don't know why, I just feel like TouchWiz feels like a feature phone. I'm just not a big fan of it. I get along with it, I don't mind it. Using it on devices where I'm not expecting a lot of smartphone features, I love it actually. I think it's a really good interface. But putting it on top of Android I don't know, it really inhibits the phone. So let's go back into Open Home here, and I'll show you one of the things that Samsung definitely got right, and that's the notification bar drop down. You have your settings buttons at the top: phone, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, which eliminates the need for a lot of widgets or other apps to get to those settings quickly. You have your usual notifications, and then you have recent apps, which is the same thing as if you hold down the home key for like a double click kind of thing. So there you go. That's how I have my phone set up for the time that I have it here, because I want to use it, and I found the Behold 2 default interface less than friendly. It wasn't unusable, but it certainly isn't fun, for me anyway, to deal with. Alright, next question. Okay, someone wanted to know, does the Behold 2 have an 800 megahertz CPU or not? No, it's a 528 megahertz Qualcomm, just like most of the Androids that have been released, and definitely in the United States before the moment anyway, and then of course the Droid, which is a different architecture altogether. But this leads into the next question. Can you do a comparison of Behold 2 and Sprint Hero in terms of responsiveness of the UI and phone quality? I can't, because I don't have a Hero anymore, but I do have an Aris, which is Verizon's Hero, so this is the closest I can do for you on video here. So I'll just do a little bit of responsiveness for you. Go back to the standard TouchWiz UI. Now, this may seem strange the way that this application dock is responding, but Samsung has it set up so it kind of clicks past each row and you get a little haptic feedback, a tiny vibration. So that isn't really intended to move like butter, I don't think, like the Sense UI's application dock. So in terms of build quality, Hero, if you're talking about the Sprint Hero, well, any of the Heroes, including Aris, I think the build feels better than the Behold 2, which, it just feels maybe a little bit chintzy, and I might be saying that because they're charging $229. I think that was a really bad choice, but there you go.